I spend a lot of time here in downtown Winnipeg, and I've had conversations with different people of multiple different backgrounds, and I hear the same message. They don't recognize with the majority of their own background because there's the whole new age thinking and old age thinking. And we all fall guilty of that. Sometimes old age thinking is a very good thing. But what we need is this perfect balance of the old age and new age coming together and realizing, okay, we're not really that different. New age, okay, yeah, we're a huge technological, age, but there's so much we can learn from the old age, but they can also learn from us. We're really attached to people online, and they're very, attached to people elsewhere.
And yeah, and that's sort of the issue here, where we're not having a lot of live our relationships, and it's like all the relationships are, in their cell phones and the social media. And I go off and say this as, probably one of my best friends online is going off and listening in on all this. And, but, I mean, in this case, I've actually heard, his voice, which
we've all heard his voice.
We all have heard his voice, Kyle reminds me a little bit of Terror Funk.
We love you, Weem.
We love you, Weem. So, but it's such an interesting. There's some definite benefits to it, but of course there's some detriments to it as well.
And see, without technology, we would not be attached to the world as we are.
Yeah,
but
we wouldn't be able to come to you and rant and rave like a couple of crazy Winnipeggers.
But at the same point, and I know Lazy Nerd's definitely going to understand this and realize this as much as we do. Without current technology, the media would not be able to hold people hostage the way they currently do as well.
Just this society would not be able to be held hostage, period.
When we were growing up, the only way to really listen to the news was, okay, you turn on the TV,
you turn on the radio,
or turn on the radio, or you read the newspaper, and that forced them to tell completely 100% honest news that people would actually tune into, as opposed to now, where they can dictate and
they
force
still
through.
go off, and they would tell it. Social media tends to be always been kind of left wing. So if you were, anything like a conservative or Republican-minded individual who's on the right side, you would always kind of go off and get slandered a little bit because media tends to be left-wing. So it's to go off and say the honest truth. No, it's, as Obi-Wan Kenobi would put it, there's a certain point of view, and that's kind of the way it is. They're owned by people on the left side, so
True.
They go off and they do the left side.
And unfortunately, in today's age, if you are on the center line, you are hated by both sides. There is no middle ground.
Yeah, you're Switzerland, pretty much. Everyone hates Switzerland, except for they like the chocolate and their cuckoo clocks.
See, and I've learned this just recently. When I took a different stance to what was going on in the States, I took the stance that both sides were screwed up. Both sides made mistakes, and both sides were
both
stupid.
Screwed up.
But the moment you refuse to take the side of certain groups, and I'm not going to call them out because you all know who the groups are, and I don't need to say it. But the moment you don't take their side, you're automatically, a Nazi in their eyes. And that's the 2017 word. If you don't agree with their views, you're a Nazi. Now, what's even more funnier is the fact I have German background in my blood, and I currently have a bald head. So it's amazing the amount of comments you hear just from that fact, and of course I'm white, which is the biggest sin apparently nowadays.
There is one group in this world that it is perfectly fine to be prejudiced against, and it's young white straight men. plain and simple. You can go off. You cannot make fun of any other group in society and get away with it, but you can make fun of straight white straight men. You can make fun of fathers, which is why almost every sitcom out there has a dumb dad.
And if you, God forbid, happen to be a single father, a single father who happens to be a straight white male, you are the most screwed up person out there.
Pretty much. Okay, you know what? We have been kind of ranting and raving about this, and we've been talking for like 35 minutes straight on this. We usually take a break, but you know what? I mean, let's kind of reel this a little bit in. I mean,
yes.
We only got about less than 10 minutes in
Absolutely.
here, and I really want to give you a chance to go off and talk about it.
I honestly, we can save that for another show. There's another pressing matter we have to speak of that, unfortunately, we have to keep to 5 minutes, and I really regret talking as long as we had. But that is the passing of Bobby Heenan.
Yeah.
Which I don't think either one of us really want to say too much.
This one's kind of like the feels. I grew up. Literally, I was. Bobby Heenan was one of the first wrestling persons I ever saw on TV, and I'm actually swelling up with tears as I go off and talk about him. So, to me, Bobby Heenan was the personification of what a great heel manager was. He was more so, a great talker on doing color commentary. And, I mean, I flat out, I will tell you, he's the greatest manager of all time. He and Grawl Monsoon were the greatest commentary team out there, and I swear to God, if anyone goes off and challenges me on this, I will bash their knee with a bat.
We've talked a lot about different ones passing,
but this
and they've all had an emotional attachment to us, but this one is more of a personal feel. We both met him back in February.
We met him in February. I mean, at the point, Bobby couldn't talk. For those people who didn't know, Bobby lost a great amount of his jaw. It wasn't necessarily to cancer. He actually had reconstructive surgery done on his jaw, and he actually got a terrible infection, which ended up causing more damage than the cancer did, and ended up losing most of his mouth. But when we got a chance to meet him, there still was, even though he couldn't talk, the wit was still there. And I went off and he made me laugh. And so when I went off and heard about this on Sunday, it kind of hit me hard.
It definitely hit a lot of us hard. I don't know if our nephew actually knows that he's passed yet. Haven't had a chance to tell him. But yeah, I do know Bubbles is planning to frame the picture of Bobby Heenan's autograph. Just because of the fact this is more of a sentiment thing, because we've met the guy, and to find that he passed away is definitely a tough pill to swallow.
This, and again, I mean, this is like a huge. I mean, this is a huge thing from my childhood. I mean, and I think some of the Kevin that we and I know, Kevin, who heads up Lions Road, he went off and he posted something on the board that we go off and we post all of our role plays and stuff. And I think he put it best on there. Bobby Heenan was pretty much the central heel for much of the 1980s. It was always him, with Andre the Giant or Big John Studd or King Kong Bundy or someone trying to get the better of Hulk Hogan or Ultimate Warrior or whoever was the lead heel at the time.
Absolutely. And as Amy stated, and we'll be going into our shameless plugs shortly after. But the good point, if you could take any good from this, it's he isn't suffering.
Yeah.
Which, it seems like this whole silver lining in a storm cloud. But sometimes in things like this, on a more personal feeling, when you've actually met the guy, had the time to, not in our case, talk to him, but interact on a more personal level, it's something you need to move past past it and to not so much accept it, but understand.
And I'm telling you, I'm really tempted after the show ends to go sit in my car, turn on YouTube, and find a couple of matches on there where Bobby and Gorilla are calling the matches, and just kind of sit there and kind of laugh. And, just absolute chuckle every time the Gorilla Monsoon says, "Will you stop that?" That's a sign that Bobby Heenan was starting to make him laugh.
I was listening to a couple the last few days, so definitely it's something that's touched all of us, and it can never be replaced. Yeah. But unfortunately, we must end the show. Yes. And we have 4 minutes to ram through our shameless plugs, so here we go.
All right, guys, thank you for listening, and I'll try not to talk in too many voices, just my regular one. So thank you for listening in on the show, and we hopefully will be back next week to rant and rave about some other stuff. So you can follow us on Twitter.
You can follow me at RealCaptFizz, so at RealCaptainFizz.
You can follow this local fellow at That Mask Guy. Follow the show at FizzMask Show. Go check us out on Facebook. Just look up Captain Fizz and the Masked Man. There isn't a ton of stuff on there lately, but I did post results of a show I went off and wrote featuring Captain Fizz and the Masked Guy doing color commentary. I do apologize for the spelling mistakes. The system I was using refused to go off and change all the mistakes, and I just posted because I wanted to keep my word on posting it on a Sunday.
And Captain Fizz doesn't talk nearly enough in this one, so he has to talk more next time. And next week, I will be actually talking about It, Weem, just so you know, I will be rewatching it again this weekend, just because I loved it so much the first time.
So you'll definitely have to go off and talk about it.
Absolutely.
And you can go check out our website, www.fizzmaskshow.com. And there'll be some great stuff on there as well. So guys, thank you once again. Thank you to Lazy Nerd, Amy, and Weem for all participating in the chat group here on Spreaker.
A more political conversation.
This was a very political conversation, and we never even talked about some of the stuff that came up with Donald Trump. And nope, and we're not going to either. So in the meantime, and in between time, good night, God bless, and may the force be with you.
And Amy, if you hated clowns after the first It movie, you're going to hate clowns after the second It movie. So, as always, stay frosty, my people. Good night. Good night.